Jim, why do I need to talk to my legislators? What's that going to do?
One of the things that's so important for preachers these days, they don't know what to do legally, how they can contact their politician or what they can share even in their church to their church body, whether or not they can promote an issue or something like that. And they get concerned about what legally they can do. The other part of it is there's some that are just absolutely scared to death. They're going to divide a congregation. But all the studies show, every single one I've ever read, say that the people in the pews want to know what their pastor and the Bible think about certain issues. And so trying to find a balance so that you can do that and still have separation of church and state, which is that great line, as you know, but the line is taken from a letter that was given. It's not part of the law. It's just been adopted that way to us. And so it makes people really nervous. I've worked with Faith Engagement all across America and trying to figure out the best way to do this. And that's why Church Ambassador can answer that question. Why? Because this culture needs to hear from pastors. And politicians, by the way, are real people too. And it would be good for them to develop relationships that'll make a difference.
Okay. And in between here, you're doing great. Perfect, actually. I'm going to change my height so you don't have to look up to make eye contact with me, because I know
that will help me out.
That's going to be easier. And we'll just happen to have a box between us. The other part, and I'm going to flip this around so you can see it and see yourself.
Well, it's okay. It's up to you.
Sure? You sure?
I'm fine not seeing myself.
Okay. So, and I'm going to play the part of a church pastor and just address my questions. I'm afraid that anything I say is going to be the wrong thing, that I'll offend some member somehow,
right?
Or that this is a third rail I just don't even need to touch.
And I understand, and we hear that a lot from pastors. And so what Church Ambassador can do, we can help you on certain issues. I know all preachers like to get sermons. I give free sermons out on certain issues just to give you an outline so you can have an opportunity to have something that passes our legal team to make sure that we're not doing anything wrong. But listen, part of your calling as a pastor is to tell folks the truth, and you cannot hide from certain issues. And I could bring up issues that we deal with all the time if you'd like to talk issue-oriented stuff. But the guys have got to realize the church and the country and the culture need to hear from you. They need to hear that different perspective. And you can do that with love. And we pray for our elected leaders in our church, regardless what party they're in. And we have people from both parties in the church. I never talk parties. That's not the right issue. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is tell the truth.
Perfect. And I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay.
I thought you had made your best point, and then you made a better one, so I'm going to shut up. Let's go back and recap what the organization is. What exactly is?
Church Ambassador Network started in Iowa several years ago. And now I've worked with 3 different organizations doing faith engagement all across America. I've been blessed to travel coast to coast, just advising churches, doing voter registration drive, by the way. And I want to tell that story before I answer this question. Is that okay?
Of course.
I'm at First Pentecostal Church in North Little Rock. Y'all know, if you're familiar with this area, it's a huge, beautiful worship center.
And not your native denomination.
That's correct. They're not. And so I was over there. They wanted me to do a voter registration drive, just sign people up to vote, not say who to vote for, on a Wednesday night. So I went out there and just had a great time. I'll never forget the first guy that signed up. And this is one of the reasons that we need to exist. He's 71 years old, and he signed up to vote for the very first time in his life. And so I asked him, of course, it was good to engage in conversation on this. Brother, why'd you sign up to vote now? He said, my pastor told me it was important. And just because a pastor told him that they needed to vote to participate in the process, not necessarily who to vote for or anything like that, just to participate, he signed up. And that was great. But look how much of his life the Christian community did not have his vote on, whether it's a school board election or local, state, national, all that. We didn't have that voice.
Just because his pastor never really asked, would you vote?
Right. And he never felt compelled to do that. And there's far too many people sitting on pews that don't do that. They don't want to dirty their hands in the political process.
You have not because you ask not.
Oh, very biblical of you, Dennis. Now, in Iowa, in the interesting state of Iowa, I was going to say the great state, but I'm scared somebody from Iowa might see this, so I don't want to admit that publicly. I have good friends up there. Well, in Iowa, the place of the first election salvos, if you will, every year nationally. Iowa had just finished their family, the people who lobby for family issues had a horrible session. And they just got together because they realized that they weren't making a difference with churches. Churches and pastors were not responding to them. So they got some names together, people like James Dobson and folks from Family Research Council and just an incredible array of talent sit around a room 14, 15 years ago, and they said, what are we doing wrong? And they came to the conclusion that it was not the church that was wrong, it was the approach that was wrong. And so they started building relationships. And Iowa says they played the dumb tax, and they just focused differently. And as a result now, Church Ambassador Network is in 22 states with 45,000 churches. And that's 45,000 pastors and people that are involved in the process. And what we try to do is build relationships. And we just started in Arkansas, already have in about a year 600 churches in our network. And we just build relationships. We want to build relationships between the political elected leaders and pastors and all three branches of government. And you can check us out with them as well. And so we can walk into the room and they're not offended or scared. They know we're not going to come to lobby. We're just coming to build a relationship. I have pastor with me. Just want to introduce him to his legislator or another one, a key guy that he needs to listen to and he needs to share with, and let you pray, let you share a word of scripture. And we just figure out how to support them. Now, a lot of people, Dennis, have different opinions about politicians.
No.
It's hard to believe. But you know what? Politicians are people too.
Who said?
And
Who said that?
They're real people, and they have families, and they have jobs, and they have all these issues going on in their life. And sometimes the last thing they need is somebody coming to get onto them one more time. Mm. So our approach is different. I bring this pastor in, and he just shares a little bit, and we just talk. We drink coffee. We build a relationship. We move at the speed of relationships. And then that allows us to be able to tell them what we really think, and we can hear what they really think about issues without fear.
Excuse me. So what's this commitment going to cost me in time?
Well, commitment doesn't cost you anything in time except to read an email. You get a weekly email from us, and that's what we'd like to capture is your email address. And I send something out, and I'm usually talking political things that are going on, issues that might be happening, but also what's going on in your church. And we talk about, I spent just a month ago time in Russellville at a drug rehab place, incredible place. And that's the kind of partnerships that we want to make. And we're growing to churches that are doing things in their community, whether it's foster care, taking care of those folks when they get out of prison, whether we're dealing with human trafficking. We deal with these kind of issues that the church is dealing with because the church is having to deal with people issues all across the state. And so we're going to go into communities and counties that are stressed, take our church ambassador churches, and it's going to be amazing what we do. I came across a pastor, I won't tell you where, Dennis, that he wanted to change a neighborhood. The neighborhood is run down, drug infested, just crime was rampant. Not in a big city, we're talking about a small town in the state. And so he's a pastor, and he said, what can we do? And he talked to his wife, and they moved into the neighborhood physically. So he put his family and all of that into a dangerous location that most pastors wouldn't do. Well, he did it. And so over time, and the years have gone by, and they have changed this neighborhood.
But it took a deep, long commitment.
It took a commitment. And that's the kind of stuff, and a vision to do that, willingness to do that. And churches and pastors really are looking for ways to make a bona fide difference in their lives. You just love people. And the way to do it is not to beat on their heads in the political process and say, you've got to vote this or you're not a believer or something like that. No, we're going to build relationships. I can tell you another great example that's happened with the Arkansas legislature. You might not know this, but a couple of years ago, they decided that they would help and give out grants to women's shelters. And those organizations that are dealing with pro-life issues, you might say, they're taking care of women, the unplanned pregnancy, that kind of stuff. And all across the state, well, the legislature, in great wisdom, designated $1 million. And so all across Arkansas, these women's shelters who are in dire need of money just to be able to buy diapers and provide counseling and all that kind of stuff, they were able to give out some grants. Even their faith-based organizations were allowed to be able to give out the grants. The program's so successful this past year, they gave away $2 million.
Really?
And so all across Arkansas, and you don't have to hide your Christianity. You don't have to hide your faith. You just get to share. And that's an example of how government and church can work together for the betterment of our state. Dennis, we have one of our state leaders, department heads. I don't have permission to share their name, but I will tell you what they told me. They told me their goal is to work themselves out of a job. The government is doing things that the church should be doing.
Amen.
Taking care of folks.
And should have been for 100 years.
Absolutely. And so,
let me pause for 1 second. I'm going to try something else here real quick.
yeah.
I'm seeing how this is unfolding, and it's rock solid. It's wonderful.
Well, good. Thank you.
No, you're doing fabulous. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to come back here just for a sec. I'm going to slightly be in the picture
Sure.
just to ask a question. You'll see where it goes here.
Okay.
Now record again. Okay, 41, 42. Okay. In this world, in this day and age of an e-church, let's face it, it's an e-world, right? It's electronic. We have all that.
Absolutely.
And it's easy to see the mega churches and anybody who wants to hear the good word, they can tune it in on any device anywhere.
At any time, yes.
But how does that cell of a small town or a small residential rural burbia or a subdivision of a major city, how do they get impacted?
They get impacted easily because they get a touch from that church. That mega church, the only way churches grow bigger is they got to get smaller. And,
Cellular? More small groups, you mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Or there's small touch, but you go out and they feed them, they care for them, they provide child care after school, they provide breakfast before school. Of course, the state's going to do that now.
But they meet them where their needs are.
That's right. And absolutely. And they meet them, but they meet them physically, if you will. They're shaking a hand, they're giving a hug, because electronics can only go so far.
But now I'm going to meet my legislator, right?
Right. Now you're talking about what church ambassador does, take that pastor.
Right.
You're the pastor coming, yes.
Okay. And so I'm going to meet my legislator who typically I've only seen on TV, radio, heard on the news or whatever. And he's this big disambiguous person that I can't whatever.
Or she.
and pardon.
Yeah.
and then we meet and I realize they have needs and pains too. And I can minister to them too.
Well, we're on a personal level, but let's talk about that politician.
Sure.
Okay. In Arkansas, most of them, overwhelming majority of them, don't have a vision or desire to be governor or anything like that.
Right.
They want to represent their community, like here at Owensville or Hot Springs Village or something like that. There's a need in that town that they're wanting to take care of. It's bothered them, it's consumed them, and they want to do something about it.
They're there for a reason.
Right. And so they've come in and they're wanting to take care of that need. And part of my interview is because I meet these guys personally, individually by myself. Why'd you run for office? What is your issue? What is it?
What's your passion?
Right. And some it's crime issues. Some want to help the schools out. My neighborhood is falling apart, and then I notice these other neighborhoods. We need some things changed that we can only do at the state level. They're trying to do something. Let
me speak to Arkansans just for a minute because that's my forte. 3.3 million people in the state of Arkansas, roughly. 3.3 million people, 75 counties, 86% live in 10 counties. And you can name them: Pulaski, Saline, Benton County, Washington County, Garland County, Jefferson. Sure. We can name them. But the number of people, the other 65 counties, That's where these people come from.
They absolutely do. And let's go to Arkansas Delta area,
Oh boy,
an area that desperately needs some help and desperately needs what churches can do.
Phillips County.
Phillips County is a great place to start, or Drew or Chico down
Yeah,
there, South
yeah,
Arkansas.
yeah.
Of course, we're hoping that the new discovery on
there,
lithium
yeah.
is going to take care of some things down there.
Yeah.
But Northwest Arkansas is not Arkansas. Even though I love it and we love Razorbacks and all
He makes
that,
a note. He
it's
makes a
different.
note.
It's not the rest of the state. I mean, jobs are there and there's movement. People are moving in. What, the last number I heard, 1,200 a month into
Well,
the area.
it's been that way for the last 50 years.
Right. And now in the rural part of Arkansas, farms get bigger, they get fewer people, and people are leaving. Their kids grow up, there's no jobs, so they leave. There's a brain drain going on in the state as well.
Yeah.
And so we find out what that politician is desiring to do. And if we can help them, we're going to help them. Some of them are wanting to feed people. Well, I can give them 10 churches in their county that are part of our network that have food banks, and they can just give away food. We do one here, of course. We can do that. We're putting people together, building relationships, not building political issues.
What does it cost? Is there a cost associated to this? Does my church have to pay a fee?
No, but of course we take all donations.
We would. We
Yes,
will welcome
would.
any
We do
donations.
that. But there's no cost or just that email. I just need that contact. And then come to the Capitol. We want you to come. And we'll set you up.
Physically come to, not just Zoom or something, but physically
come, and we'll prepare you for the day. And if you're really rough on me, I'll buy your lunch or something. But we just want
He
you to
hadn't
come.
invited me. I'm just making note. He hadn't invited me. I've known him 40 years. Still didn't tell me. Yeah.
But we go to constitutional officers. They're thrilled to meet people.
Yeah.
Just absolutely thrilled. And so we don't have any problems with that. The governor has a wonderful liaison to the faith community. We always try to make sure that we meet her.
Yeah.
So that helps her grow her network as they're trying to do some great things. Most pastors in the state don't know that we meet every month. The governor's office sponsors a deal every month.
Really?
And we bring in and highlight some kind of work that's going on in the faith community, where it's drug rehab. We had a great session just on dealing with social media and children.
Really?
Because it's consuming them.
Well, and this is a real serious issue.
It is. It's a great issue. Well, it's a great issue for our kids.
Yeah.
But so that's the kind of stuff that we're working on. And so we need your help. We need pastors.
Let me speak to the constitutional officers real quick.
Yeah.
Dennis Milligan.
Yeah.
44 years ago, I was selling him printing in Greenbrier, Arkansas, and he was running GRT racing and horse racing and all other kinds of
And he
things.
still has some more. Dennis is a good friend of mine.
He is a great guy. He is a great
he's
guy.
a lot of fun.
And in case you think these are people that are distant and far off and I can't touch and feel and get to know them and whatever, you can't not love Dennis Milligan. He is a great guy to get to know and love. And like I say, I've known him even longer than I've known you, but a genuine salt of the earth guy who really has the best interest of the state at heart, right?
He does. He'll sit down and visit with you about any issue. He used to do the treasurer part and let you take a picture with $600,000.
I like that day.
I did I had to do it. Number one tourist thing, I think. in the county.
Touristy thing, yeah.
But now he switched over jobs and
Auditor?
His goal is to give all the money back. He's being very aggressive with all those folks. And
To get your
you need to
refund back
contact
to you.
his office and see if there's something that the state owes you.
Well, and the reason I bring
He's
up,
giving away, I don't know.
it's millions
I
and
would
millions and
say to
millions.
say.
Yeah.
He's giving away a lot of money.
and there's a site online you can go look at
Yeah,
the auditor's
absolutely.
office and say unclaimed funds. I digress. My point is, he's the guy. If you don't know anything about your government and you don't interact with the Capitol, you've never been to the Capitol. If you don't know that, you don't know that when you get there, these are gracious people who are happy to talk with you. They don't just give you the hand and whatever. Yeah. I mean, they're truly humans that want to talk.
They
with
have the time, and they're going to do as best they can. But we set up those meetings for you. And so we know if we know that you're coming, we go to them and say, hey, this is a person. We go to Secretary of State Nicola, good, great guy as well.
Yeah.
And we set those meetings up. You need to talk to DHS, we'll set you up with
Well,
that
without
meeting.
this association, how am I going to get these contacts? I'm just
Well, you're just going to make the call, but they don't know you. And so sometimes it's hard to get work through all of this.
we don't know
The
if you're-
minutia that's bureaucracy.
Yeah. Each of us, and I say us, in our associations have clients or members or clientele I'm not going to say problematic, but they seem to complain more than others. I know it doesn't happen in your church.
Not in their church.
No, not this one either.
I've never experienced that
You've
before.
never.
You've complained more than anybody else I've had in my 50 years of ministry.
You're the only one. You're the only one that listens. Everybody else I complain to, they never listen.
Yeah.
My point being, we all have those members, and think of it, if you're the auditor of the state, and you get a phone call, you don't know if I'm a general complaining guy or if I'm part of an association that's basically kind of been vetted, and I'm looking for the betterment of the association and the state.
Well, they also know I'm not coming to lobby. I tell them, hey, I've got 3 pastors from this district and they have this issue. Do you have time to talk?
Who says no? Nobody says
Nobody
no.
says no yet. We haven't had experience. Now, we've had some folks we had to reschedule so we could fit their schedule. But listen, they really do we need to build a relationship.
How do I get in contact with you, Jim?
You need to call me.
What's your number?
Or email me.
Email me. Don't call
But I'll
it.
give you that phone number and leave a message, and I'm a great texter. I like that.
It'll be at the bottom. Jim will text, and you do. You're a texter.
501-626-4548.
45. That's not the number you give me.
Well, of course not.
4548.
This is a special number. This is for real people, or LagronJW@gmail.
LagronJW@gmail. Jim,
And,
as always,
get
my
you
friend,
good.
it's
As
been a
always,
pleasure.
great to see you, sir.
Wonderful organization. Check it out. My friend, that was lightning in a can. You
Send it to our 600 too.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm getting at. And I'm not going to just do that, Mark. Hang on. Stop.